learn today is analyze and interpret data for patterns in fossil record that document the existence, diversity, extinction, and change of life forms throughout the history of life on Earth under the assumption that natural laws operate today as in the past. You're also going to learn to apply scientific ideals to construct an explanation for the anatomical similarities and differences among modern organisms and between modern and fossil organisms to infer evolutionary relationship. So raise your hand if you understand about fossil records. Now I know you know what a fossil is because many of you guys have been to the museum, so you have seen fossils of the dinosaurs and so on. But how many of you guys understand about the fossil records? Raise your hand. Okay, so there's a chart passed out to you. The fossil record with your partner that's right next to you. I want you to fill this in. What I know, what I want to know, and what I want to learn. So I want you to take about 5 minutes, and because some of you guys can kind of help each other to memorize you doing a lesson on fossils. So I don't know if you did on fossil records. So why don't you go ahead and take about 5 minutes, try to fill this in with your partner, and then I want you to raise your hand and share with me what you know, what you want to know, what you want to learn. Then we're going to move forward. So I'm going to call on you in about 5 minutes.
Should I?
Okay? 5 minutes, and then I want you to share. So you should be able to have something down.
What do you know about fossils? What do you know about fossils? Are you okay?
If you are ready, please raise your hand if you are ready. I see some people writing. So if I can get about 4 people in about 5 minutes, because I do see people writing, so there could be something that you should get to share. Two more minutes. I got one hand, one person. Can I have about 2 or 3 more? Just one person? Two people? One more person? Okay, so Tyler first. So Tyler, you have anything to share?
Process, like what I know about the fossil. It's like a body fossil and a trace fossil.
Okay. Okay, so nothing about the records, huh? Anybody else want to try? So make sure fossil records.
I think it includes bones, shells, and bones and stuff.
Okay. Vontae. Say it again.
I don't know nothing about it.
Oh, you okay? That's fine because that's also a block of in that little section that you can put. You had something that you want to share?
What I think I know about the fossils is that they're bones that were buried.
Say it louder, one more time.
I said what I know about fossils that the diversity of bones and fossils that were buried and found. I know nothing about that.
Okay, so that's good. So fossil records. So a lot of times you have the scientists, paleontologists. A lot of times this will help them to understand the history or the era, the animals or whatever are extinct. They are able to record and have records on how old, how long, or how they have died. This is also how they are able to understand how old the earth is as well. So this is what we're going to look at too. So I have a PowerPoint presentation, the history of life on earth, and you also have this uploaded in your Google Classroom, and also you have your student workbook. Okay. Would someone like to read this? You can. Go ahead. Can you see it?
Earth has. I can't even see.
Come, you can walk upside a little bit.
Earth has undergone drastic. How you say that word?
Drastic.
Drastic changes over the first 4.6 billion years.
Okay. And if you want to, if you are logged into your computer, you can just read it right from your computer. Okay. All right. So I can read the first one, and then if I can get a reader for the second bulletin and the third bulletin, so all in the family. So this is a project that you are going to start today. Okay, so this right here has been, it is assigned to lesson 1. So as we are going through lesson 1, we are going to be working on this project. So the project is all in the family. Many people construct a family tree to keep track of their ancestors and living relatives. Your task, I'll just finish reading. Your task is to construct a family tree for an animal species or organism, okay? Use anatomical evidence from the fossil record and living organisms to identify the ancestors and closest living relatives of your organism. Anatomic, sorry. It's a tongue twister.
Yes.
That means different parts of the animal's body. Whether it's the skeletal portion, the spinal cord, any type of part of the animal. That's what that means. That's the evidence that they're looking for. Okay? So, and it says, fossil record and living organisms to identify the ancestors and closest living relatives of your organism. This project is already uploaded in the Google Classroom. Okay? And we will go over that later on. The history of life on Earth, and I was looking at some of the words. The words are really a tongue twister. So, this 419 million year old fish, and I was trying to pronounce it. So it's the Entomologus. Entomologus, and then the Primadellis may be the earliest example of an animal with a jaw. How do scientists know so much about the history of Earth? So you know what? Let me go back to that 1 minute. So how do they know?
Fossils.
Fossil what? Records. Correct. This is how they learn. This is how they know. This is how they have to study about the different species that were here and now they are extinct. Why it matters? So I'm going to read like the first two, and then if you guys are on your computer, you should be able to see if you are logged into this. But consider these questions as you work through the unit. can you answer any noun? You visit them at the end to apply what you discovered. So why is the variety of life on earth now different than it was in Earth's past? Can anybody answer that? Why is the variety of life on earth now, why is it different from earth, from in the past? Why is it different?
Because animals that were there in the past are not, you know.
They're not here now, they're extinct. And so it looks like there's a whole nother species that is born out of the animals that are extinct. You had your you were saying something?
I said environment.
The environment?
Environment.
Okay, because the change of the weather,
Mm-hmm.
Climate change.
the
Mm-hmm.
climate change
Yeah.
had killed a lot of the animals off.
The dinosaurs.
What extinct organism once lived in your area? And I think you kind of answered that. Go ahead, Devontae. Go ahead.
What is it?
You said did I something about the dinosaurs?
What about the dinosaurs?
But again, the change of the environment. What can be learned by studying a fossil? Go ahead, Devontae.
The fossil records, they can study like how long has it been a fossil.
That's right. Fossil records, it proves how long it's been, how long the animal was on Earth, what era, geological time that they were living in. You forgot? Anybody else? Danger?
What can you learn by studying? They can learn what the animal was.
Yep. And what I'm learning that they are able to connect specific species that's here today, just like sometimes somebody may say, you kind of favor your great-great-grandmother. So a lot of times you have species that we hear thousands of years ago, but then there is another species on Earth, like for example the whale. The whale may look different than the whale that was 400 years ago, 4,000 years ago. Why do some types of organisms have similar appearances while other types of organisms appear very different?
Different.
If you think about the family tree. Go ahead, Devontae.
Different breed.
Different breed. So think about the dogs. Somebody would say, oh, this is a pure breed. I mean, this is a mixed breed. So it's even, sometimes a dog father could be a pure breed, or the grandfather could be a pure breed. And so, and it would pass down different genetic DNA traits to the dog that you may have. So, so this is almost the same thing. How is a common ancestor in a human family tree similar to a common ancestor among different species? So they talk about, so now they're doing a comparing, contrasting about human family tree with the ancestors from different species on the earth. Is there a comparison, you think?
Not really.
Not really?
No, because
Are you choking?
yeah, I was.
I don't want nobody falling out.
I was gonna say they equal because like, black and a white person, if they create a child, right? It'll favor both of them.
Okay. And so if you look at, also I was looking at the whale, that was like million of years ago. It don't quite look like the whale today, but it's still from that same family line. Okay, so we're gonna move on. So this right here is unit review. So what I want to do, I am going to go right to the book. So I'm going to the online book. You guys can watch this from your Chromebook.
Exploration 1. Explaining fossil formation. We know a lot about the history of life on Earth from studying fossils. Fossils are the remains or traces of once living organisms. Fossils form when specific conditions occur that preserve an organism's remains. In most cases, an organism's remains are eaten, scattered, dissolved by water, or decomposed before they can be preserved.
Watch the video to see how fossils can form. The most common fossils formed when the remains of dead animals were covered by sediment. Usually only the hard parts of the animal fossilized, but sometimes the soft parts fossilized too.
Fossilization is relatively rare in nature. Very specific events need to occur for an organism's remains to become preserved as a fossil. Most organisms found in the fossil record lived in the sea, as this Dorodon whale did about 35 million years ago. After it died, its body sank to the ocean floor. Scavengers may have eaten the whale's soft tissues, or the tissues may have rotted away. Hard tissues, such as bones, could get scattered. However, this whale's skeleton remained mostly intact. Over time, sediment covered the skeleton. More sediment buried the entire skeleton. Layers of sediment built up, eventually turning to rock, and the skeleton fossilized. Due to tectonic changes, what was once ocean floor is now dry land. Erosion exposes the fossilized remains of the whale. If the fossilized remains are found by scientists, they may be excavated for study.
Okay, which of these conditions might prevent a dead organism from being preserved? Select all that apply. And they just mentioned it in the video. So you have being trapped in tree sap, being eaten or decomposed, being dissolved by water, or being buried by sediment.
I picked, I said B and, A.
Okay. So, B. You said B and A?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do B and A. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think that too. I think B and C.
Okay, first we're gonna do A and B. Let's see if that's right. Hold
I
on.
think A and B.
Hold on. Okay.
R is a B.
So it says that's not it. So it's saying try again. So we're gonna try again. So somebody else said B and C. Let's try B and C. And that is correct. So being eaten or decomposed or being dissolved by water. So it says anything that eats, decays, dissolves, separates, or crushes, excuse me, an organism, makes the the unlikely organism or unlikely to be preserved. Okay, so let's go on. So from here, I'm just gonna have to do some readers. If some people want to read from their book, so I'll just highlight here If anybody wants to read, sorry, hold on. Let me go back. Because I noticed that, once we use the, let me go back. So I will start reading here. Okay, and anybody else want to read? I will highlight it so you can, and you can also read from your Canva. Okay, ways fossil can form. It is rare for an organism remain to form a fossil. Many processes can prevent fossil formation. The remains of less than 1% of all the species that ever lived fossilized. Fossils form most often when an organism remains are quickly buried by sediment. Someone else said they want to read. Raise your hand if you want to read. Okay, so they do, and then I'm gonna highlight it. You can go ahead and read this. And then, look, Monica. So they just reading the green.
What?
Monica is reading the blue. And you guys can look right at your Chromebook from your right from your desk instead of walking way up here. And the Hydra's gonna read the yellow. So go ahead with the green, Danger.
That is why most fossils are found in sedimentary rock. Quick burn by sediment occurs more often in rivers, lakes, and oceans than it does on land. Therefore, water-dwelling organisms are more likely to be fossilized than land.
Okay, Monica, blue.
Fossils may form from an organism's bone, teeth, or shell. They may also form from activity. Fossils of soft-bodied animals, such as jellyfish, are rare, but they do exist.
Okay, and the Hydra. Go ahead, genetic.
Proteins and genetic material may also fossilize. For example, scientists identify certain cell structures and fossilized features that help them the color of the feathers.
Okay. So we have another video here. No, it's not a video. Okay. So in your book, on your Chromebook, let me tell you what I want you to do right quick. I want you, so it's a type of fossil. So I want you to click on, so down here, so let me just, let me read this part right here. Frozen remains such as those of this baby woolly mammoth, form when an organism becomes trapped in some way, dies, then it quickly frozen. As long as the surroundings stay frozen, the fossil will also remain frozen. Freezing preserves much of the organism, including genetic material. This mammoth calf, named Lyuba by researchers, still has her trunk, fur, and internal organs. So, on your Chromebook, what I would like for you to do, I want you to click on each picture, and it's going to explain the name to you. So can you guys do that right quick? Okay, so you have the trace fossil. The other one name is, the one here is a permineralized fossil. It's because of, I was reading because it has oil. Okay, oil on that that fossil. And so as you click on it, it tells you about this is the amber fossil. A very long time ago, this spider got stuck in this sticky tree sap, and you can finish reading that on your own. This one is called the cast and lung fossil. after an organism tissue decomposes, an impression of its body shape can be left in sediment. And you can finish reading that on your own. And this one is the trace fossil. A trace fossil, that's what you was talking about too. Okay, trace fossil is a record of the activity of an organism. It may be footprints such as these left by a brontosaurus. That's a dinosaur. Or it may be a burrow scratches of fossilized dung. Look at this one, you guys. Tire pit fossil. A tire pit is an area where sticky, thick liquid called asphalt seep up to Earth's surface. This water beetle was found in the Brea Tire Pit, Los Angeles, California, and it's fossilized.
It looks more like an egg.
And then we back to the frozen remains. And so this is a question that you guys could observe the trace fossil and the permeabilized fossil. What observations might scientists be able to collect from each type of fossil? So can you guys answer this individually on your own? Even if you don't write it in right away. So looking at the trace fossil and the permeabilized fossil, observe the trace fossil, and then you're going to compare both of these. What observations might scientists be able to collect from this fossil and from that fossil? What can they collect? So this will be more like an inference. Kind of have your own prediction of what you think.
No.
Just put your head down. Can anybody? So what can the scientists collect from this fossil?
What?
Anybody think of something?
Hold on, wait.
Huh? Okay, you said DNA. I don't think DNA was going to be available at that time. Somebody else say something? Put your thinking caps on, you guys. Okay, so observe the trace fossil and the permanent mineralized fossil, which is here. What observations by the scientists? So when the scientists look at both of these boxes, what are they able to collect from each type of fossil? So what will they be able to collect from this fossil? What are they going to be able to collect from this fossil? Vader.
In the trace image, the trace fossil image, the footprints are more
Footprints.
of what they left.
So they can even measure the footprints, and they can determine what type of dinosaur that was. So that's something. So they can actually carve the footprints out, and that could be put in a museum. What about right here, you guys?
Same thing, but like,
Yeah, this-
they can like what they can do, they like dust it in and you know like they're polishing it, trying to put it in, you know.
It's more so of the body that was left behind.
What does it look like?
A bird.
It look like
Some
bones.
type of bird.
It look like
What? Now back then, you know, those birds had the large extended wings.
They was big.
Okay? Let me move on. Okay, so what I want to do, because time is kind of winding up, I want to just come on down here to the Morrison Formation, and then I want to show you where, I would like to show you where your project is, and then we are going to begin to close this assignment up. So I just want to show you something, but as far as looking at this map, so it says the Morrison Formation. The Morrison Formation is a large area of sedimentary rock that is the most concentrated source of fossils in the United States. Some fossils are complete, Others are mixed and jumbled together. So what I like about this, there is a map. And it talks about the, here, always look at the key. Morrison's Basin, and the other one is, let me move my cursor. It is the Carnegie Quarry, okay?
Miss Anderson, you can click on it.
Yeah. So, when you are using your student ebook, learn how to click on stuff. And sometimes scientists are able to find a complete fossil, such as the Stegosaurus. Ariella, can you get that for me, please? Thank you. Scattered fossils remains are often scattered and mixed together, such as these fossils in the Carnegie Quarry. So this is something that you also can look at on your own. Okay? So what I want to do is I would like to just show you where so here's the PowerPoint presentation. Right here is the animal, all in the family project. You'll click on open up. It will go right to your read to write. And I would like for you to read, before you try to do anything, I would like for you to read the worksheet, okay? You have until February the 20th to complete this. We will go over, we are running out of time, but we will go over this together. But I want you to start reading this so you can have a better understanding of it, okay? And also, there's a chart, a table chart that I have started for you guys. And I'm going to show you where that is. It says animal chart for project. So I created this chart because you are going to find the species on your own. You're going to look into the different geologic eras. So I gave you an example. It says students create a chart to compare and contrast and anatomical structures of their organism, its living relatives, and its distinct relatives. So I put the first species, it was just an example, sea otter. Adult weight, 31 to 99, body shape, okay? So this is just an example, okay? So this goes with your project. So in closing, I want one person, raise your hand. So what is the purpose of fossil records? What is the importance of it? Can anybody answer that?
The importance of what?
Fossil records.
The importance of it is so that scientists can know how to keep up with life.
Okay, very good.
Basically, what Abrante said, but just to keep up with the day and when they find it and what it is, stuff like that.
One more person and we closing. Tyler? Different species, so finding out different species from 4.6 billion years ago, the species was different from today. Okay? Last person.
The purpose of the fossil record is to know what they're looking at.
Okay, very good. Okay, so what I want you to do right now, you guys, I want you to go in. We're going to be going to lunch pretty soon. I would like for you to log in and look at the project that is uploaded, and this project goes along with lesson 1, and then we can move forward from there. Okay? All right. Thank you very much.